Curious from your perspective, as someone who's been building in this space for so long, as one of the people who thought up Tether, how you're watching the evolutions of stablecoins and what you think is next on the horizon.
Well, it's an amazing point in time where the regulation, the governments, large institutions are finally catching up, because this past decade, stablecoins have proven themselves. Blockchain technology has proven itself. The use cases and the demand. Now that you can move money globally, instantly and for free, why do you have to wait 1 to 3 days for your bank to move the money, right? The technology's there. And the reason we're waiting is because regulation is not there. And regulation's finally catching up, realizing that stablecoins are the bridge to this new infrastructure that's going to upgrade the traditional financial system. So that's why there's so much excitement in the air today.
And Jen mentioned you are working on Stable now, which you've described as Stablecoins 2.0. What do you mean by that?
So my new company, STBL, is bringing about the evolution of the stablecoin. Over these past 10 years, we've seen that they work very well, but it's time to upgrade the infrastructure, or where the value is distributed. Because right now the value goes to the centralized issuers, but we have the technology today, all of that yield that's earned by those centralized companies, to distribute it to the people who've put the money into the system. It's not a yield-bearing stablecoin, so the system still issues a traditional type of stablecoin that's just a payment token, but it strips the yield and gives it to the user that put the money into the system. So we believe that that is the real future for stablecoins, when you can redistribute the wealth that is created from using these systems.
Now we're talking about people using these systems. Like I said, I was just on stage talking about the future of agentic payments. How are you thinking about that? Like, as you build STBL, are you thinking about building for machines rather than people?
Absolutely. It's kind of AI first, because we believe in the near future, most all of your payments will be executed by agents. And since that's the case, agents don't care about brand. They care about the best technology, what's going to be the fastest, most rewarding, most profitable for their master, for whoever is doing the transaction, for the user. And so these new technologies, such as STBL, that enables you all that yield to go to the user of the platform, or Wi-Fi that allows the users of the financial systems to reap the rewards, that's where I believe the future of AI and agent payments are going, are to those platforms that give the yield and the rewards to the users.
Mm-hmm. Another thing we've talked a lot about on both the show today and just in general at the conference is the Clarity Act and Genius passing a year ago or so, but Clarity is more in line with what people are thinking about today. What do you think about the recent compromise, so to speak, on the front of stablecoins?
Look, it's a huge step in the right direction. So in the beginning, they're like, no yield whatsoever. And at least we got them a baby step saying, okay, you can't get yield on just idle deposits, but if you take some action, we'll figure out a right structure to provide the yield. So it's a big step in the right direction. And you know what? There's going to be another step in a year or two whenever the next round of regulation comes. Because as I said earlier, we have the technology to not only move the money very quickly, but to stop being such an extractive system and provide the value to the users of the system. The only thing slowing it down is regulation. It's going to take a little while because they're protecting the incumbents and they don't want this massive shift, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen because the product, the technology, and the ability to share the revenue is there, and you can't stop that. The consumers will demand it.
You said agents don't care about brand. I would think agents probably also don't care about user experience.
Right.
When we're thinking about the agentic future, I mean, does that kind of flip business models as we know them today? And what should builders who are here at this conference be thinking about as they build for that future?
Absolutely. The agentic future really is the interface moment to the blockchain, because to date it's still complicated for the average user to manage wallets and passwords, etc. So now the user interface is all going to be managed by an agent. And what people should build for is to make sure their product's the best and most rewarding for their consumers, because that's where the agent's going to go. It's not about the best brand or the best logo or the best conference booth. It's about who provides the best product.
I think there are some marketing departments that are not going to like to hear that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think kind of going off of that too is when I think about stablecoins too, a lot of people are talking about stablecoin issuers and then whether or not you should be using the quote unquote like big stablecoins that are out there today, one of which you helped create. But then also like where do you capture value? So how do you think about that from your perspective, and like who should really own the value here?
Absolutely, that's the premise of stablecoin 2.0,
Yeah.
is the fact that the value, the yield, will go to those who put the money into the system. If you think about it, there's over $200 billion within the stablecoin ecosystem, well over 200 billion, and none of the people that put those dollars in are the ones getting the yield. The centralized issuers get that yield, and sometimes they share a little bit. We now have the technology to make sure that the moment you put that money into the system, you get the yield, you get to control it. And I believe that's where the future is going.